Gina from Real Housewives of Orange County. Me and Evan are so excited to talk to you. Well, Evan is, here with us in spirit and on Zoom.
Yes, very large video.
Yes,
But
thank you for dealing with my face being like literally 6 feet tall. But yeah, Danny and I are so excited, especially because we're still recovering from last week's episode.
Oh,
You left us with quite the bang during that. I guess it was a coffee date. We'll call it a coffee
we'll call it a
date.
coffee
coffee meets
date.
bagel,
Yeah,
yeah.
sweet treat situation. Yes. I just want to remind you guys, my pants, I did tell you that they were incredibly tight. Okay? I'm like John Jansen when he's hungry, when my pants are tight, I just
No, it honestly, it is very hard to operate when your pants are tight. Like it ruins my day when you're
it
just like not having a skinny day. It's like all bets are off. I'm gonna come at you, put you in your like truly. Jen should not have taken it to heart. She knew your pants were
100%.
tight. She should have expected the heat.
Thank you for that. If I had an elastic waistband, that never would have happened.
because then you would have been able to have your croissant and life would have been good.
Everything would have been okay.
Wait,
Yes.
me and Evan were laughing because obviously y'all always speak your mind in crowded spaces. That coffee shop was bustling.
Wait, can I tell you, when we arrived, I was like, guys, we're gonna have this conversation here. And you have to understand too, guys, I love Lola's. Like that is actually a community staple. And I have not been back since because it's not like I watched this and I'm like, I'm really proud of how I acted. Like I get it. I think that it was a really difficult situation because although I stand by, my points and all of that, clearly I could have communicated my points better to Jen. The glam just really sent me over the top.
It hit a nerve. Well,
Hit a nerve.
It hit a nerve, and did the nerves get re-hit when because she brought up in her confessionals maybe some moments of lack thereof glam for Gina.
You know what? No, guys, I have to. The hair was bad, and I'll give that to her. I mean, and you know what? Kudos to you. You got to take your shots where you can get them. So I am not mad about that. I will never advocate or defend the hair. It was bad any way you slice it. So I get it, but it was honestly, it's just we are friends, and that really was a unfortunate circumstance for both of us. The thing that I do love about Jen, though, is that she really does have a great heart, and she's a kind person. And I think that Jen and I both, when we were watching this and it was rolling out, what we do have in common is both of our instinct was to reach out to each other and apologize and take accountability for where we were at fault and make sure that each other was okay, because we also both, you take heat from everybody else's opinions once you give your opinion. And we kind of leaned into each other, which was nice.
Yeah, it's nice that you two are on good terms again, but I feel like you're the queen of getting on good terms with people this season, Gina, because Danny and I never expected you and Shannon to get to the place you're getting so quickly as the cameras are rolling just in these first few episodes of Orange County. Were you also surprised that you were able to get to a good place with Shannon? Because I mean, the way last season ended, I thought that was a wrap for y'all.
Me too. I was literally shocked when I think you could see it in my face. I was literally like stunned, speechless, and that doesn't really happen for me a lot. So when she apologized at that first party, Heather's party, and to be completely honest, I was not expecting an apology. I had sort of publicly already said, look, I'm not gonna, kick Shannon when she's down, and I'm gonna allow her this. And she had a lot going on at that party, so I was not expecting to be a priority to her at all. And I think that the fact that she did apologize, even given that circumstance, it really did mean a lot to me, and it was genuine. And then she could have just left it at that, because I really am kind of easy, and it only just takes accountability and an apology, and I truly will move on. And you see that. It's the way I live my life. You see that with my ex. You see that with my relationships. So, but for her then, when we were doing the football stuff, to then bring it up again, and this is unprompted. This is just coming from her heart. I knew how genuinely she understood in that moment when it happened to her, the pain that I was feeling from what she had been doing to me. And it's all gone now, because that's all it takes is like people understanding where the other one is coming from. And I just feel like Shannon never really saw me, and now she does. And it's really nice, it feels like a weight lifted. And she is, to me, I can only speak for myself, she is changed. She is not perfect. She is not to the ultimate level of where she wants to be yet, but she is trying, and she's authentic, and she is, you know, looking at stuff. And I really do give her, and it's not an easy thing to do. And as we get older, it's harder and harder and harder. I give her a lot of credit.
Yeah, and I feel it would have been such an easy thing for her to do, just to kind of brush it off and try to move on as best as she could, even though a lot of people, because she knew everyone was coming at her so hot.
Yeah.
Or was expecting that. If she could, like, there was a way where I could have seen her be more on the offensive at people, just because as a defense mechanism.
Right, because that's usually what she's done in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really proud to see the walls come down and her allow herself to be vulnerable in the moment. And let's be honest, like we watch, I don't see everything, you know, so we watch it too. When I watch Shannon talk about that night of her DUI and her telling the story and the honesty that was coming out of her mouth. I mean, I was even like, I think you're being too honest now, you know, like, so, because I worry for her, you know, so, but that is like, so I respect that, you know, she's like, you know what, I did what I did. Even when John was saying, don't do it, I did it. I had to prove a point. I mean, that's honesty and accountability to the top tier level.
Right. And she's even been honest about her relationship with alcohol following the incident, saying she still drinks. She likes to keep it to a 2-drink maximum, which I think some of her castmates, some of your castmates have given her heat for. As someone who chose to not drink anymore, what are your thoughts on the matter? And do you have any advice for her if she ever does decide to go sober?
Yeah, I think that everybody's relationship with alcohol is their own. I understand why, you know, certain people in our group are choosing to kind of, they have to back away for their own selves. You know, I get that. I get why Tamara's like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I get that, you know, but you know, people don't change overnight. And I think that at least Shannon being willing to look at it is a good thing. And now if she's in this space where she's like, look, guys, I'm willing to accept that my relationship with alcohol was not good. Right now I'm in a space where I want to see if I can responsibly socially drink. That's her right to do that, right? And if she gets to the end of that experiment, we'll call it a little social experiment, right? And she decides, and she can't, then maybe at that point she says, okay, no, I'm gonna just go sober. Or maybe she can, and then she drinks responsibly. Either way, it's for her, it's her journey, you know? And I am not about pressuring people because that doesn't work, you know? So she really has to figure that out for herself. And I am here to support her, you know, through it. There were moments, I feel like this season, where I did doubt it and I did check her, you know, and I think that she allowed me to do that, and that is we're in a really good space, you know, so because she understands that like it's all coming out of love, you know. It's
coming from your like, I have been in shoes similar to yours at certain points.
Yeah.
And I want to try to give you some advice as a friend.
Or really, it's just, I just want to make sure you're good, you know, like I just want to check in on you. Like even that, like my relationship with alcohol and my journey with alcohol doesn't affect hers. Like this is just me being here, whether I drank or didn't drink, as a friend and a person of support for her. I'm not putting anything I did or the way I did it on her, because it's different for everybody, you know?
And like you saying that you understood why Tamara had to take a beat from just kind of being in the chaos and everything. And of course, because it was a lot at once and they were so close that it had an issue with it. Do you feel kind of watching the season so far, you're aligned with like how Tamara is going back and forth with her? Because like the explosive little, like when Shannon left to go to the bathroom, I thought Tamara was going to go comfort her. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a comfort. Like, do you think Tamara's approaching it the proper way or just approaching it the Tamara way?
Well, you just said approaching it the Tamara way. I mean, it's hard for people to approach things any other way than how they know how to approach things. And I think that I do understand why Tamara feels she has to take a step away. The thing that gets complicated is that we're all a group of friends and we are together all the time. So she doesn't really have the option to completely cut it off. And I think that's difficult for Tamara. I think she's the type of person that, like, when she closes a door, she burns down the house, you know? And that's just like who she is. And so I think that it is hard for her. It is a struggle to be like, I'm taking this step back from you because I need that for me, but then Shannon's still around and she's watching things that Shannon's doing that she doesn't agree with. And again, now, do I think Tamara's approach is correct? No. Do I think my approach and how I communicated to Jen was correct? No. We're human, we're flawed, but it was a lot. I would say it was a lot. Yeah.
Did you ever feel the pressure to pick a side because you are offering Shannon a shoulder to lean on, but then you've historically gotten along with Tamara? Was that a tough position to be in?
It is tough because you don't want to pick a side, because I have love and respect for both of them. They've also been a part of, like, just honestly the show and the franchise for so long, and I respect them both. You know, they're heavy hitters. And it was tough, but it gets to the point where, like, I understood, Tamara didn't really understand why I could be supportive of Shannon. And at the end of the day, it's like I can only express to you why I'm doing that. And then if you still then can't rationalize through that, I don't really know what else I can do or say, but I'm not going to change my behavior just because you don't like it, you know?
I feel it is a lot, like for OC this season, it's a lot of people stuck in the middle of stuff, because even when we were talking to Jen last week, she was like, I'm friends with Alexis and Shannon. It's not easy, but I'm doing it. So I feel you kind of are all just rocking with the boat.
Yeah, that one I think was easier for me because I didn't know Alexis before, right? And I've known Shannon for 7 years, and I sympathize with what she's going through. And I also never really liked her boyfriend. So it was like kind of easier for me. I'm being honest, you know? And I don't wish them bad, you know, at all. Like, and I think that John and Alexis honestly probably will stay together. It's a different relationship with two different people, you know? And the combination of Shannon and John was bad, but, like, in my opinion, it was both of them. And now I feel like we're in this situation where, like, Alexis is trying to make it like it was just John's like this hero and Shannon's all bad. And we all know that that doesn't work like that. There's two sides to every story, you know?
Right. Well, speaking of relationships, and before we let you go, Gina, with Travis, what we're seeing right now on the show, it's breaking my heart. I know it obviously was not easy for the two of you, and I feel like there are a lot of layers to this. Obviously, the kids, the space, but in one of your confessionals, you do say that you think you just kind of need space from the toxic ex situation. So I just, you know, what's the update today? Are we living together? Have we made strides with, you know, his kind of contentious family dynamic that he was dealing with? What is going on? I hope you two are okay.
We are okay. We really are. We you know, that was a rough year for us. We're working through a lot, and we're continuing to work through it. I'm not going to sit here today and be like, it's perfect. It's fragile. It's fragile, but we love each other, and we are doing what we got to do to get through it. And we're communicating and talking about all of our, you know, our fears, our resentments, our everything. So we are good. We are still living separately. And for me, that has provided a certain sense of relief from, now I feel like I'm able to be an appropriate, supportive partner to Trav, because what's happening with him is outside of his control. But now that I don't feel like so scared of it, because it was outside of my control too, and like it's affecting me and my kids in my home, I feel like I can be a better partner to him and support him through those things, because I'm not worried about myself, you know? And I did need a little bit of a safety net from some of this. You know, once I deem something as spilling out or unsafe or any of that on my kids, I have this need and desire to move away from it. But I love him so much that I'm like, let's just do this for now. We can still be in love. We can still be a family. It might not look like everybody else's, but it is. And then when you get to that place where you can move forward, we'll do it together.
And I feel it's like a lot of the audience is respecting and appreciating how open you've been with that. And even we saw that kind of is what helped you and Jen bring closure together. Because it's like you and Travis are blending a family. And that's not as easy if it was just you guys just, single, never married, never had kids and anything like that. There's a lot of more layers and complexity to it.
Yeah.
And like you're facing those problems head on versus just pushing them off to the side until they can't come at until they erupt at you.
Well, and until it destroys our relationship. That was the problem, was it was starting to build and I was forming resentments and it was creating issues, and I truly felt if we didn't do that we would implode. So it was, for me, I viewed it as a necessary step backwards so that we could move forwards. And it's not easy to blend a family, and there's some things that happen that are truly outside of your control, but that doesn't mean that you should just operate like they're not there, So and there, I am being as open and honest as I possibly can, with also being respectful to the fact that this is my journey and my platform and all of that, and it's not theirs, and so, and I want to protect my stepkids and everyone, so I try to be as honest as I can while still trying to be respectful of that.
Yeah, well, I think it was a really brave step to take, and I'm glad it's a step that you took to preserve the relationship, because I hope you guys stay together forever. You're so cute together.
I know, and he's honestly, he's the best human. He is worth it to even, it's weird and we have to operate in a really weird way right now, but he's worth it because he is just such a good human. And it's sometimes, to me, I just value that more than everything else. So it's as long as I can feel a little bit of a safety zone for me and my kids and, still be supportive to you, we're good.
Okay, well, we love hearing that you guys are good right now. And also we love that you stop by to talk to us.
Yeah, yes. I know.
And now I'm excited when Evan's here and you're back. We can just go party.
I know, but I did tell you guys this before, and Evan, I meet it, this big photo op, it's giving me my big ego from Caragala with Shannon.
Hey, that's the best compliment ever, to be compared to your big ass ego. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Let's stick a pin in it.
Yes. All right, thank you, Gina. Always such a joy to catch up.
Such a pleasure, guys.
You're the best.